Hey guys. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? I just got up about 15 minutes ago. I told y'all I was going to get up a good 15 minutes before the live started and I was going to be fine, even though we went late last night, because I want to go through part 2 of Cyray's thingy tonight. So it's going to be another long one, knowing that most of us have to get up in the morning. So I'm just going to do it because I don't have time to do it any other time. But we made it. We made it. No, it really doesn't. Maybe Cyray needs to come and take a walk around on a few other places so that he can get his shit together, because he definitely has got his mind everywhere else besides where it needs to be. Making no sense. Being a hypocrite. And technically, again, being a perjurer, in my opinion, because what you wrote to the court that you were going to submit to the court, that you testified to at the court, and what you're out here saying are different, kind of crazy. Hey there, Carla. Hey, Miss Mojo. How you doing? Hey, SJ. Hey, Bluebird. How you doing? Slept right through last week's. You know what? I wanted to. Let me tell you. Yes. And even though we're going over the rest, yeah. Even though we're going to go over the rest of Cyray's interview, I'm still going to take time somewhere in between there today to go and watch the Gypsy Rose interview that she did a couple months ago, 2 months ago, I think, because I've been wanting to watch it. I have not been able to watch all of it. I have it screen recorded, and after I get off of here, I'm going to go through and get rid of all of his sponsor ads and stuff like that, so that those don't show up, and do the flip around thing so that they can't tell me nothing about using their content. You have to make it your own so they can't bitch. That's another reason why I usually don't really do a lot of stuff with other people's stuff, because you got to do all kind of stuff to not get in trouble. Anyway. In between that, we're still going to do that because I want to break. Everything with Idaho is so crazy right now. And with new stuff happening, us getting closer to some sort of deadline for something to be filed, him now saying, oh, they're going to get a second bite at the apple, something's brewing or some shit. I feel like that's true. We've all been sort of expecting that. I feel like in the next month and a half, it's probably going to ramp back up again, but it's also going to start ramping back up again in the next few weeks, because in just a few days we have one of the first of 3 or 4 documentary movie things in that case coming out. Oh my god, so much. Hey there, Becca. How are you? The box should be there tomorrow. Okay, good. I have a couple other things going into the channel PO box, and they do this consolidation thing to where they send me everything at one time if it's coming in within a 7-day period, and they can see the tracking stuff, because they have a way to be able to track everything that I have coming into there. So okay, that's good. So in the next week or so, week and a half or so, everything else should be in, and all of that should be on its way to me, which lines up because we still have to finish the last 2 chapters. For those of you that might be here, well, the majority of you are here from the True Crime Channel. You know that we are going through Broken Plea. Well, I'm going to be giving away my highlighted one. Christina had one that she barely even opened, and it has no writing or anything on it, and she wanted to go ahead and give that away to people too. So we're going to be having 2 books to give away. It's so cool. Hey there, Michelle. Oh my god, yes, I love some alien stuff. Let's talk about it. Hey, Saul Dade, how are you? Hey, Cajun Bayou Queen. Hey, Ember. They tried to copyright strike me for the music of that, and I have I have the thing with Canva, I pay for Canva, and that music was on Canva. Now YouTube has its own creator studio music. That's where the music for my True Crime Channel comes from that everybody likes. It's from the YouTube Creator Studio. It's free for anyone to use, really. But Canva, I needed an alien thing, and I went through YouTube, and I couldn't find anything that was alien and also free, because I'm not paying $9 to use a song when there's free ones. I'll make my own damn beats. I got a 8-year-old who thinks he's going to be the next Eminem sometimes. Just depends on the mood he's in during the day. I'll just make my own shit, okay? I'm not paying for it. So Canva had this one, and it obviously is the alien techno-y. It kind of fits. It seems like people like it. And whoever created it tried to copyright strike me. And then 2 days after they filed that, it had to be dropped because I had licensings with Canva. Do you not know where your song's being used, where you've already signed contracts with for your stuff to be used? So I don't know if they're going to do that every single time. If they tried to strike every live that I use that in every single time, just to have to release it 2 days later, every single time, I'm just going to change the song. So we're going to see what they do today. This is time number 2. So we're going to see what they actually end up doing. Annoying. Oh, it's okay. We won't tell them. Hey there, Sharon. How are you doing? Hey, Lorena, how are you? How are you? Hey, Jen. Yeah, a lot of people do. Well, I'm also going to take the ones that I've written in, and I'm going to be taking pictures and putting them up like per chapter in the archive so that everyone can read it. I mean, my notes will be all over it, but as long as that doesn't bother you, everybody can read it. I'm going to do it one chapter at a time. It'd actually be kind of nice if I could actually get all of that done and get all of them ready to go before we do the last chapter of the book, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. UFO time. All right, let's go ahead and see what we can see. Let's go ahead and see what we can see. Let me go ahead and share this. Oh, thank you for the gifted membership, Jen. Congratulations to the person who got that. That's fun. Thank you so much. That's nice. That's so nice. Okay, let me make this bigger. Oh, that's not, I don't know. That's how I had it yesterday. I don't like that. I guess like that'll work. Okay. I guess like this will work. Alrighty, let's see. We were looking at just straight up videos last time. And we basically just went like all and then typed in like vid. But I wanted to go back to where we were in release 1. So that we can kind of keep up with the documents too. Is this all or 1? Okay, yeah, this is 1. Because this is where we started. And we started going through the documents here. Lots of weird stuff. I remember Greece. I'm pretty sure that it was like maybe a November one, maybe. Oh, I have it on vid like a dummy. I didn't change it. Hold on. That's why it looked funny. Okay, let's see. I know that it was like a November one because I remember seeing the date like November 8th or something like that. Maybe not. Dang. They all don't even have the incident dates on these. Okay, well, that doesn't help me. Okay, right here, there's no way we were that far. No, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. We were on page 2. Okay, let's just start with this one. A crystal type dome. Okay, let's read this one. Now, the last episode when we just went through videos was really crazy. To me, we had that weird wombat-looking alien bat thing. That something either shot out of its butt or somebody tried to hit it with something and missed. That was interesting. Mostly a lot of like jellyfish shaped little UFOs is what we came across last week going through the videos. Interesting. Especially the weird little wombat thing. That thing was creepy as hell. Gave me nightmares, bro. Freaky as hell. All right, so let's see what this one is. Now, most of these document ones are all written, typed up with like a typewriter. Obviously, as you know, everything started progressing with technology, it's mostly videos now. So far, it seems like I've been able to sort of keep track decently on the back and forth. So we might do back and forth. We might do a live of going through the older documents, and then we might switch it up and hit video and go to video on another one just so that we can kind of switch it because some of these are difficult. The way they spoke back then is definitely so different. And look, it's only been like 70 years, and it's just some of the dialects, some of the military jargon that they use is definitely different. Definitely different. Let's read what this one says when it comes to summary. It says an FBI memo from 1958 reporting a UFO sighting by a Detroit man who described a circular object with a crystal-type dome and recommended that the information be forwarded to proper Air Force authorities. It's only one page, so let's go ahead and read this. It's dated April 17th, 1958, unidentified flying objects from Special Agent Robert Ross Reynolds. Damn, to have an RRR name. That's crazy. David Weaver, and it gives the guy's information in Detroit, telephonically advised this office at 4:08 a.m. today that he had just seen an object in the sky described as a circular object with a crystal-type dome that reflected lights, like your typical little UFO person. Oh, as a matter of fact. Where's my little UFO guy? Hold on. I have like an outlay I've been wanting to play on, like put on here. Is it gonna let me do it? Hold on. Let me put this on here. I liked my little alien ship thingy. Hold on. Creepy. Oh my god. Where is my little alien dude? OMFNGBIS. I'll just go download them again real quick. I was cleaning out my folders and organizing stuff yesterday, and I guess it got lost. Okay. So this is, yeah, like your typical glass-domed alien spaceship, the one that we see in like all the little cartoons is basically what he's describing. He said this object was passing in a northern direction from southwest and crossed the city 3 blocks south of 6 Mile at Lamphere Street. We were advised that he attempted to call Selfridge Field to get in touch with the Air Force, but his attempts were unproductive. He then called the office to furnish the above information. Weaver said he was 23 years of age, was the son of a Detroit policeman, and that he had previous experience with the Civil Air Patrol. However, he was not too familiar with the identification of aircraft. Weaver stated he was on his way home from his employment in Detroit when he observed instant object. Instant object? Lieutenant Colonel Bernie E. Prater advised 4/17/58, no letter, no better Mike, no letter, what? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is 11/7/1957 in Germany. An FBI report from 1957 detailing the interview with, oh, no. We went through this one. This one right here. We sure didn't read that first one. That one right there was the one where he said that there was like a gravitron. That's another one that we saw from last time, where he said that he saw like a gravitron shaped sized, and the gravitron like at the fair, the UFO that you laid back up against like those mats on like the tilted wall, and as it moves, it, you know, the force pushes you up against the wall. He basically described it as that size, like actually, and said that it was like slowly rise up off the ground to be able to go over like 50-foot fences, 50-foot gates, and then like just keep on hovering, just keep on going. And if it went back down, it would just rise down real slow. And when it was hovering and above the ground, it gave off such a strange whistle sound that it made the like engines around the object stop working. So his tractor or something like that had stopped working, and it would not get turned over. Like you could not. Why do I have hiccups? I literally woke up 15 minutes ago taking 2 sips of coffee, and I've got hiccups all over the place. Oh my God. Okay. He said everything I just said. So until the motor was like gone out of earshot, you couldn't see the object, you couldn't hear the high-pitched whine anymore, engines wouldn't start, and they had to be turned on manually. That was something that was consistent with that story back and forth. And that's crazy that back in, what year was that? 1957, Germany. You're having multiple people in the vicinity, including military men. Because it's military that are like, they're the ones who are in control of this thing. This guy that did the report, he's just on the farm doing some work. And here comes these military people with this gravitron-sized thing that's hovering all over the place, making his engine stop where he can't do anything. Very odd. And it happened more than once. 1957. We're supposed to have flying cars by now. Very obvious we had flying tanks, flying shit that does all that stuff back in 1957. I always say that by the time that the government lets you know about a new technology, the government's probably been using it for like a good 15 to 25. And you're getting a watered down light version of whatever the hell it is. That's just been my assumption over the past couple decades. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually I was just talking about that the other day. I said, it's funny. We've been going through all these files. That one that we just heard is like the first one that we've ever really heard that like sounded like a real like the little cartoon ship guy, So I was like, it's funny. We used to hear all the exact same stuff. Like it was either like this saucer shaped thing, or it had like these like triangular shaped like lights on the bottom of it. Now, all the ones that they keep talking about are these like pill shaped things, or these spheres, or these cubes that are just going at like high speeds. And then you got the scary little alien wombat guy. Okay, that's a completely different situation. But then we have all those little jellyfishes, all the weird little jellyfish aliens. But yeah, you never have a video pop out from anybody who 50 years probably sounds more like it. You never see a video of anybody claiming to have a sighting and it looks like your typical little UFO guy with the glass dome and everything else either, like we just heard. Maybe that's just an older version and they got rid of it. I mean, I don't know. It is crazy though how it's changed a little bit. I knew Praters for back whenever I was in elementary school. Went to school with a Prater. That's the only ride, girl. I don't do roller coasters. I don't do heights. I wasn't even comfortable being on the top bunk of a bunk bed as a child already. I don't do heights. I don't. You couldn't keep me in the house as a child, but you were definitely seeing me with my feet on the dirt already. The Gravitron is the only one that I have ever been on. Well, actually, I'll take that back. When we went to the Texas State Fair before we moved, we went on the one that like it's just like this. It takes you up and just like turns you like really slow, so you can like see stuff, and it's really nice and slow. But I had a panic attack the entire time because we were so far off the ground. Like I might be fat, but I can still run. I can't fly, which is the same my same thing when it comes to flying versus like taking a boat somewhere. My ass can swim, but I can't fly. So anything where I'm off the ground, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. And actually, I know exactly what it was. I was at a fair when I was really little. I was like 7. My mom was pregnant with my little sister. Me and my dad just talked about this the other day. And the asshole that had the Ferris wheel literally stopped me and my mother at the very top. I was 6 years old. Dad said you could hear me cussing, saying shit, damn, what the hell, get me, all kinds of shit. That's like 6, 7 years old because me and my sister are like 7 years apart. And ever since then, I've been scarred. Ever since then, I've been scarred. I was like, why the hell would you stop me up there? Yeah, that was it for me. But Gravitron, I love the Gravitron. Ariel, she'll get on anything. Slade is more like me. He don't really want nothing to do with it. Don seems to be like the perfect in the mix. Like he wants to try stuff, but he's still just like, I don't like it. Yeah, see, I've been on the water my whole life. I grew up on the water. My dad fished forever. We fish when he comes down here. The one thing that we're missing now is a boat, and we've got so much water everywhere. But the thing is that even though we've got so much water everywhere, we can't find somebody who just like does boat rentals. Where you can just like rent a boat and go out. Like you either got to buy one or you have to have a tour guide driving it for you. I don't want that. So once Dad moves his butt in here in the winter, next stop is boat because we're kind of tired of not having a boat. We want to have a boat. Oh, I know. It's so scary. We went on a plane one time because we were forced to have to for Ariel's Make-A-Wish trip because it was from Texas to Florida, and they flew us on Southwest, and they didn't seat us together. So like it was on either way. So we switched off. The first way there, I was with Ariel. The second way there, my mom sat with Ariel. So we switched off with Slade. For some reason, why the hell would you not book a 4 family going on a Make-A-Wish trip around each other on the plane? Absolutely ignorant, but they did it both ways. On the way back, we had the worst turbulence ever, and Southwest is so tiny. Like claustrophobic, like the actual like size of the plane is claustrophobic. Definitely not the way I've seen other planes and people like walking around in other planes. There's like no space in those planes. Never again. No, oh no, me too. Me too. You went to dolphin training? Yeah. Yeah. That's freaking cool. Yeah, I thought I was the mermaid as a child. I take a bath and recreate the scene where she's pushing herself up on the rock singing to Eric with the splash every day. My mom loved it, I'm sure. I'm sure she did. All right, let's see what this one says. Oh, I just closed off it. Okay, we'll go this one. Let's see. Oh, wow. This is over a 20-year span. How big is this file? Oh, taking a minute to load. 185 pages. Ah! You guys, we're probably going to have to skim this one because that's cray-cray. Okay, this says, the FBI's 62HQ38, no, I'm dyslexic apparently, 83894 case files includes investigative records, eyewitness testimonies, and public reports concerning unidentified flying objects and flying discs. Remember, they suddenly don't exist anymore. Now they're pills and spheres and cubes and orbs of light, and all of the little cutie thingies just went away apparently. Documented between June 1947 and July 1968. The records include high-profile incident accounts, photographic evidence from sites like Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and technical proposals regarding potential propulsion systems. Additional topics include convention programs, researcher accounts, and extensive media coverage from the period. This file is partially posted on FBI Vault with more redactions and some pages missing. Included here is the complete case file with several newly declassified pages and only minor redactions. Well, it's 185 pages and it's got a lot of info, so maybe we won't skim through, and this will just be the one that we mainly look at today. If it has a mixture of things, if it has media reports and people reports and research reports, it seems like a decent little mixed bag. Save the damn layout. Why are you messing with me? I don't want it like that. Hold on, this thing's acting stupid. I don't want it like that. Hold on, this thing's acting stupid. Hold on. I got way too many layouts on here I'm not using, so let me get rid of these so it'll let me fix this one. Okay. I've been saying it for a while, but I really do need to like look at another streaming platform. I mean, I was going to use Stream Elements when they sponsored me. It won't save it. Hold on. Let me stay right there. I'm going to go to the dashboard and come back in and see if it'll let me, because it won't let me make this bigger for some reason. Give me just 1 second. Let me go back over here. It's not working. It's not letting me make this any bigger. So the only thing I can do so that y'all can actually see it, for those of you who are looking, because I know a lot of you guys just listen while y'all are doing other stuff, which is fine. But I want those of you who are looking at the screen to be able to see the damn thing. So the only thing I can do is make it like fatter. You guys make it fatter because it's not letting me make it longer for some freaking reason. It's not, is it going to let me? But it let me save that layout. Why would you do that? Yeah, I was going to start using a different, like I was going to start using Stream Elements when they were sponsoring me, but then they had a whole issue and like stopped being a company. Oh, now it wants to work. See, this thing just wants to do whatever it wants to do when it wants to do it. And I'm just not for it. Okay. I'm not for it. All right. This is a little bit better. But yeah, they didn't pay their people out for like months, and they didn't tell anybody like what was going on. And then finally we found out that the company was going down and there was an acquisition happening and all kinds of crazy stuff. And we had to basically go out and find the information ourselves. So then Stream Elements became not an option anymore to learn. So I'm still trying to find one I can get away from when it comes to StreamYard. We'll see. Okay. So again, this is 185 pages of mixed bag. 21 years, it seems like, worth of things that they partially previously released, but now they're saying that they're dropping the complete file of stuff. My goodness. Okay, let's make this bigger so we can try to read it. This says, more about saucers. Can you guys see that pretty good? Yeah, I think you can. Let's see. Priest? I'm pretty sure, even though it's kind of messed up, I'm pretty sure it says priest. Priest finds whirring disc in yard and holds it for FBI. Oh, that's a headline. Chicago, July 6. A Catholic priest at Grafton, Wisconsin, said tonight that a round metal disc, which might be one of the mysterious flying saucers, had crashed into his parish yard and that he is holding it for the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The Reverend Joseph Brasky of St. Joseph's Church at Grafton, 45 miles north of Milwaukee, said he heard a swishing and whirring noise this morning. A second later, he said he heard a thud and a mild explosion. A thud to me is something that's sort of like a smaller thing. To me, if it's a saucer, like a big ship, I'm expecting I heard a crash. Yeah, priest. I would expect like a crash. Thud means maybe this thing is tiny. He investigated and found, oh, it is. He investigated and found a sheet metal disc about 18 inches in diameter. Like that? Like a foot's like that? Like that? You know? Resembling a circular saw blade. The object still was warm, weighed about 4 or 5 pounds, and was about 1/8 of an inch thick. Ew. So 18 inches in diameter, but only like teeny, like a blade, like actually like a blade, like a circular saw blade. Okay. There was a hole about 1 inch in diameter in the middle of the disc, he said, and in the opening were gadgets and some wires. So instead of it being a hole like with the actual saw blade where you connect it, there were things inside of that little hole in the middle and wires inside of it, like its engine, like its parts. The priest said he did not know if his discovery were important or whether it might be an elaborate practical joke. He said he had notified the FBI of his find. H.K. Johnson of the Milwaukee FBI office said he hadn't heard yet about the disc, but that an official report might be at his office. The flying discs have been reported seen by persons in 30 states, but Brasky's disc was the first one that actually had been found, if that was what was found. His report came a few hours after a military plane made an unsuccessful speed dash in an attempt to track down one of the discs, and the Army and scientists sought to ascertain whether coast-to-coast reports about the disc zooming through the sky were fact or fancy. So one was just flying right there, and they were trying to chase it and couldn't find it, and then it landed in the guy's yard. That's crazy. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I had to get a cough drop. Yeah, it does sound like a little tiny drone, doesn't it? I wonder if it's just like programmed. It's not saying that they saw like any camera eyes on it. Let's see. Army planes scoured the Northwest Pacific skies for them without success today, and one eyewitness even reported having seen one of the discs take off in Arizona. A St. Louis railroad man exhibited some Paper dices? I've never seen it spelled with an. Oh no, that says discs. Okay, the C looked like it had a line, but it's not. It's not an E. It's an C. So a St. Louis man exhibited some paper discs. He said he had seen floating over St. Louis. The flying saucers, which have been reported skimming through America's skies, have speeds of up to 1,200 miles. At speeds of up to 1,200 miles. That means 1,200 miles per hour. That's crazy. Have eluded the usually keen eye of radar. Captain Tom Brown of the Army Air Force Public Relations. Do we have the rest of it? Oh. Why would they give us this one up here if they've got the whole damn piece right here? Look at this. That's a long ass report. Holy shit. Okay, let's see where we were. Or is this like an update? Okay. So this was on the front page to get people's attention. And then it says sea saucers on page 3, and this is the rest of it on page 3. Okay. Do this so you guys can see it. No. Okay. Okay, so what was his name? Captain Tom Brown of the Army Air Force's Public Relations Staff said the Army Always Communications Service had reported late yesterday that so far its radar scopes throughout the country have been unable to pick up any strange objects in flight. And in the Pacific Southwest, where most of the fly-happy patterns have been reported, the Army has radar equipment which can pierce fog and darkness and pick up objects in the sky 200 miles away. Even so, Brown acknowledged that the Air Forces had decided there's something to this and had been checking on it for 10 days. And we still haven't the slightest idea what they could be, he said. And a new wrinkle, the reported landing of a fleet of 8 skimming platters, so they also were flying around in packs, was reported from Idaho in full view of 10 persons. A Dishman, Idaho housewife, said she and others in her party had seen the saucers land on a mountainside near St. Mary's in Idaho. She said they came into view at an extreme speed, suddenly slowed, and then fluttered like leaves to the ground. The mysterious part was that we couldn't see them after they landed, she said. We could see them flutter down into the timber, yet we couldn't see that they did anything to the trees. She said she hoped to hike into the timber tomorrow and search for the objects, which she said were saucer-shaped but resembled wash tubs more than discs and were about the size of a 5-room house. So these aren't no little bitty 18-inch little thin discs. These are the size of a 5-bedroom house, and they're deep, like tubs, like the Gravitron. You could definitely fit 5 tiny rooms in a Gravitron-sized situation. Locally, Hazen Kennedy of, why do they put the addresses in here? Reported he had seen one passing. You know how, isn't that crazy? This is a newspaper, okay? This is a newspaper. Fly happy flies. Yeah, they do. This is a newspaper. And they have just been willy-nilly throwing everybody's address in these damn things. You used to go, I remember my parents used to go down to the Kerrville Daily Times and pay money to put an ad in the paper every 2 or 3 months when we'd have a garage sale, because Dad would had a bunch of fish and shit. So he was constantly selling stuff and reselling stuff and all back and forth. And we would just go willy-nilly in there, put your address in there. Hey, come to my house. I can't believe we used to live like this. Oh my God. Can't believe we used to live like this. That's so crazy. Anyway, this Hazen Kennedy guy, whose address I'm not going to read out loud, even though he's probably not even alive anymore. Who knows? Reported he had seen one passing over the northeast section of the city at about 8:40 p.m. This would be the first one reported over the district, although others have been reported over nearby Maryland. Kennedy, who has 125 hours flying time as a student pilot in the Army Air Forces, to his credit, said he believed the saucer he had seen was traveling at well over 1,000 miles an hour. How can the human eye even see something that's going that fast? 1,000 miles an hour? That too. Back when you can actually let your freaking kid take his bike down and pay for a 10-cent piece of candy by himself without having to be watched the entire time. And you knew he was coming back. Yeah, no shit. Isn't that crazy? It hasn't even been an entire freaking 100 years. In less than a century, we have gone to where we could feel like we could literally trust everyone and everything because stuff barely ever happened, to now you blink an eye and 5 people are dead. Oh, look, another person just got kidnapped. Oh, look, there was just another DV incident. Oh, look, an entire family just got annihilated. Yeah, that's the reality now. I haven't been able to decide whether it's always been this bad and we just didn't know it because news moved so slowly and we didn't have TV in our faces and we didn't have social media to where something happens over in Russia in 30 seconds, the United States is aware of it and watching it happening live. It's so fast now. So I just don't know if it's always been that way and we just didn't know, or if it has amped up a lot and maybe the ampage is because of the technology. I'm undecided. I'm totally undecided. Right? I mean, I'm 38 and I still say stuff like back in the day. Like, ridiculous. But it feels like that. Like it definitely feels like an actual different era. We grew up in a time where we saw the beginning of where we are now. And so we've been able to sort of like, acclimate pretty well. But if you try to take the generations of today and just back them up 2 decades, oh my God, they'll lose their shit. They will absolutely lose their shit. But that's crazy. How can the human eye actually see something that is going 1,000 miles an hour? Like, I feel like that'd be even like too fast for the eye to even be able to catch without it just looking like a boop. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Especially to be able to then describe what you're looking at with such great detail. The best way I can describe it, said Kennedy, was that it looked like an orange lamp bulb without the socket. So just an orb then. Like a orange orb. A ball. It was going faster than any jet plane I've ever seen. In Hagerstown, Maryland, Miss Madison? Maryland? We're just going to say Miss Gano because we can read that one. Said that she had... Right here, it's just like these staples are messing stuff up. I think it says she had seen 5 of the discs racing in 2-1-2 formation at terrific speed from her back porch. They sounded like a faraway train, she said. In the wake of these new eyewitness accounts came a new series of comments and explanations, but most of them were tinged with a slight tendency to laugh off the whole thing. I'm sorry? Not me. That's crazy. Dr. Winfred Overholzer, nationally known psychiatrist. Oh my God, they think you're crazy. See what I mean? All these different people are seeing all these things. And now they're going to bring in the psych. Now they think you're crazy. Why does it always go to that? That's so crazy. That in itself is freaking crazy. Nationally known psychiatrist and superintendent of St. Elizabeth's Hospital here said it has some of the earmarks of being national hysteria. Shut up. Every time someone comes up with a sea serpent story, said Dr. Overholzer, others with vivid imaginations are sure they have seen the same thing. The critical faculty in man, the last one he received, is still not very well developed. Scratch the surface and you find the same mass hysteria which predominated during the witchcraft scare. Some persons are quite ready to see things and follow beliefs. Dr. Overholzer said that when he made his rounds of the mental patients yesterday at St. Elizabeth's, not a one commented on the flying saucer story. So he walked around the mental institution and just asked all the people that were there about the flying saucers to see if the psych lady was right. Okay. I think they may be a little skeptical, he added. So there's like sarcasm and all kinds of like little in these articles. Alrighty. However, Dr. Overholzer said he wasn't trying to dismiss the matter as a joke because there are so many strange things going on today that no one can be sure. Major Alexander P. D. Seversky, noted aircraft designer, told the Post by telephone from New York that until he sees a flying saucer, he wouldn't like to pass judgment. He agreed with Dr. Overholzer that much, if not all, of the story may be because of hysteria. After all, he said, we are more or less a hysterical nation. Major D. Seversky said it was possible that the persons who claim to have seen the aerial discs have instead glimpsed the exhaust of a jet-propelled plane. He conceded, too, that they might be guided missiles let loose as part of an experiment, but added, I don't think the government would fire them so promiscuously. Oh, honey, baby, you don't know shit about your government. I guess that's back when people still had unwarranted trust in these fools. You poor thing. They would test them in one spot in an isolated area like they did the atomic bomb. Okay, whatever you want to believe. Major General Curtis E. LeMay, who, as Deputy Chief of Air Staff for Research and Development, would know if the saucers involved experiments with guided missiles, commented, whatever these people have seen, it hasn't been anything resulting from experiments by the Army Air Forces. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to it at all. The whole thing is I don't think it says confirmed. OF something. Confounded? Unconfounded, I guess, maybe? Is the word? And then you can't read hardly anything at all. Something about a missile being able to get to 1,200 miles per hour. There's been something which said about guided missiles, I guess. I don't know. You can't read the top part. However, W. Blakesley, Associated Press Science editor, said the whole business may be an optical illusion. Everybody's just trying to discredit everything. At any distance, y'all can hear her, huh? She's probably yelling at Slade because she doesn't like when he's on the couch watching TV. She wants him to be in his room at his desk so she can be on the desk. And if he's not, then she'll do that, thinking that he's just going to magically get up and walk into the room. She'll stop eventually and just go be on the couch with them. She does that all the time. That's like a new thing of hers over the past couple of weeks. At any distance, which is close to the limit of how far a person can see, he wrote, all objects appear round or nearly so. This law of sight covers both small things seen nearby and large ones at great distances. The one outstanding fact about virtually all the saucers is that they had no structure. They seemed merely round and flat. That description fits exactly with the tricks that eyes play. This trickiness varies with differences in weather and lighting. Okay, but the priest dude found one in his yard, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. However, Nova Hart, St. Louis mechanic who was trained during services in the war to spot all types of aircraft, yesterday offered a minute description of one of the flying patterns, which he claimed he saw at an altitude of about 300 feet. A reporter saw one. Okay. Reporter sees one. He described it as circular with a ribbed framework and silver gray in color. He said it appeared to have a motor with a propeller attached in the center and that it kept turning like an airplane doing a slow roll. Well, the priest guy that found the 18-inch diametered one that's really thin said that the hole in the middle of his had wires and like little gadgets in it. So that matches that story. Is that also mass hysteria that everyone's just imagining the damn thing has an engine in the middle of it? Although many explanations have been offered, none have been convincing. A Los Angeles newspaper quoted an unnamed nuclear physicist as saying the silvery disk resulted from experiments in the transmutation of atomic energy. This report was rapidly herded into the hoax column by David Lilienthal, chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, and several prominent atomic scientists. It's a last name, apparently. Louis E. Starr, national commander of the Veteran of Foreign Wars, announced Saturday at Columbus, Ohio, that he was expecting momentarily information from Washington which would explain the dashing discs, but the message never arrived. Of course it didn't. The Air Force said that General Carl Spaatz, Air Force chief, was in the Pacific Northwest where most of the saucers have been reported, but added that his trip there was planned 2 months ago, long before the saucer scare. General Spaatz is expected back in Washington late tomorrow. Muroc Army Airfield in California had a P-80 jet fighter standing by, and the National Guard in Oregon had prepared 6 regular fighters to give chase should saucers be reported nearby. Is that it for the article? So all these kind of people were coming out, a priest, military men, people with flight experience, all kinds of people. And they're having the same exact things and talking about the same exact kind of things, but there's still a group of people in there that are trying to pretend like it's all just mass hysteria and the people really aren't seeing shit. And now all these years later, look at them coming out and being like, oh, by the way, y'all might have been right. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit. Wow, a 5-cent stamp. How much are they now? I haven't bought a stamp in years. How much are stamps? Let's see. How much is one stamp? 82 cents. So back in the day, they were 5 cents. Now they're 82 cents. Talk about inflation. Holy hell. 1947. Okay, so this is a handwritten letter. Washington District of Columbia. I can't see, like, is that B.I.? Because it says Dear B.I. I'm pretty sure that's an I. Yeah, it's an I. My kids could not read this. I mean, Ariel probably could. Slade never wanted anything to do with cursive. He still sometimes pretends like he can't read my handwriting, which is like a mix of like both cursive and regular print. My 8-year-old definitely couldn't read this. He wouldn't know shit about any of these of these letters. Okay, let's see if we can read it. It is, in my opinion, about those flying discs reported seen over Kentucky, New Mexico, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Colorado, South Carolina, and Eastern Canada, that some European country is using them by filling them up with germs or highly explosives. And after a couple thousand miles, they drop their contents and disappear. So this person is saying that these discs that are flying over the United States are filled with things, and that as they're doing their flying around, they're dropping stuff all over the place. You mean like chemtrails? You mean like the chemtrails that people like to say that you're crazy if you think that they're real, even though there's been states that literally have banned them because they're a real thing? Prince even has a story from back whenever he was a child that he remembers it being like a normal ass day in his neighborhood. And he said he lived in like, it was like, I guess what would be considered like the ghetto or whatever, but it was like not the way that it is now. Okay. So everything was like different back then, but he still said that's like the part of town that he lived in. And he said he remembers it being like a normal ass day. People were out. People were grilling. I think it was like a Sunday. He said people were grilling outside. There were kids playing, hopscotch and jump rope and like normal ass shit, like just hanging out, normal back in the day kind of activities. Okay. Neighbors doing stuff with neighbors. And he said that all of a sudden these like chemtrails showed up in the sky. There's these like streaks across the sky. And he said that within like 30 minutes, all of a sudden the entire the tension in the air completely changed. People started arguing, like different arguments all around the whole neighborhood. And he's been convinced, he was always convinced that there was something that was put in the sky that was able to fall down on them in that neighborhood. And it was some sort of something to see if it could control their emotions, make them angry, make them frustrated. Because he said all of a sudden, after about 30 minutes, everybody started arguing about shit. And he didn't understand what the hell was going on. I've been believing in that stuff for a hell of a long time. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I've been knowing about chemtrails since I was a little bitty kid. Like, I've always known about that stuff. So it's still crazy to me all these years later when people are like, oh my God, you're so crazy. That's not true. You really think yes, I know they're putting stuff up there, you dumbasses. I know they are. Are you crazy? You know how many times they've experimented on different parts of the area, different people of different colors, just depending on what they want to test. It's depending on who they're going to freaking target. They've done all kinds of crazy shit and have had to have hidden it and killed people to hide it, just to have to come out 50, 60, 70 years later and admit that everything was true. Yeah. I don't trust shit that they do. They don't give a shit about us. We're a number to them. And if they can experiment on us in order to fill their pockets again later, even if it's 50 years down the line, 3 generations later, they don't care. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. So I suggest that you keep, switch this around. Oh my God, it's going to make me lose everything. That you keep what? Lots of disinfectant on hand, or else something might happen to us in the United States. From a friend. Well, thanks, my guy. Thanks for the warning. All right, let's see. July 8th, 1947. New Orleans. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just speaking of New Orleans, let's go ahead and just repeat what we heard from Cy about one of the cases in the Idaho case, because this is crazy. He said one of the phones in the case, he didn't say if it was a victim, one of the other girls, or if it was Kohberger's, he didn't say. One of the phones was physically in Seattle. But when you looked at their ping history, that person being in Seattle with their phone with them in Seattle, Washington, was pinging in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? All right. New Orleans, regarding flying discs, miscellaneous, reported found by F.G. Harrison, revealed to be prank. Oh. Okay, but is there like a report? I'd like to read about it being a prank. No. So you're just telling us it's a prank and that's it? That's all we get? That's all we get? I can't read all that. And again, it's like they're writing in map color, map crayon, map pencil. The blue definitely looks like a map pencil. This is a stamp. The other should look like a map pencil. Okay, August 5th. Director of Intelligence, War Department General Staff, Pentagon. Attention, Colonel L.R. Forney, Chief Security Group, John Edgar Hoover, Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Subject, Fred R. Reibold. There are attached here 2 copies of a letter received from the above captioned individuals, together with copies of a newspaper clipping enclosure concerning flying discs. Dr. Reibold's letter has been acknowledged, and he has been advised that copies of his letter have been furnished to you for your consideration. So this is this guy's letter. So this is Mr. Fred R. Reibold, and they're giving this straight to John Edgar Hoover of the FBI. Federal Bureau of Investigations, Washington, D.C. Gentlemen, on July 7th, 1947, 10:30 p.m., Gertrude Sniffen, my mother-in-law, and I witnessed a flaming object which dropped in street in front of our house at, damn, these people and their damn addresses. Upon examination, the object was solid and had the form of a round circular disc approximately the size of a silver dollar. Like that? And a 1/4 inch thick, burning with extreme heat. That's probably just a piece of something that fell. That's probably such a piece of something that fell. That's crazy. The World Herald newspaper was notified and reporter was sent out. In the meantime, a boy kicked the object over and it fell into pieces. So this little bitty thing that's this big, like a silver dollar, and a 1/4 inch thick, so I guess kind of like that, fell out of the sky in extreme heat in front of this house with this guy and his mother-in-law that saw it. And while they were waiting for anyone to show up, a kid came up and kicked it and it broke into pieces. Okay. When the reporter arrived, he scooped up the fragments and said he would have them analyzed. Scooped him up with what? You just willy-nilly touching shit? Your attention is directed to attached analysis. Ooh. There were 6 people who actually saw the object and can testify to the extreme heat as which it was forming. Maybe? I mean, does O's look like A's? I don't know. We did not clean. We did not what? We did not learn. It was one of the so-called flying saucers or any such phenomenon. But we did want some kind of reasonable explanation because if the object had dropped on a rooftop, if the object had dropped on a rooftop, it would have certainly set fire. So it was that hot. 6 people saw it being that hot. We can definitely say it was not tobacco ashes as offered by Dr. Kinney. It burned with such extreme heat as to scorch pavement? Scorched pavement on and near pavement where it laid? I don't know that word. I don't think that's even a word. Possibly this could have been a late 4th of July firework or something similar. But at any rate, we are calling it to your attention as the answer the learned Dr. Kinney gave as something paper ashes is just so ridiculous and entirely is just of ridicule of what is full of ridicule and entirely unsatisfactory. Oh my God. You can tell they were getting frustrated toward the end. Everything got real messy. So the Dr. Kinney person is saying that it's ashes, and the guy is like, hell no, it ain't. This shit's crazy. Everyone saw it, and you're wrong. Okay, so let's see where the analysis is. Well, I thought the analysis that was done. I thought the analysis that was done would be here, but I guess not. Okay. So this is a different article. Flying saucer, just someone's pipe dream. The flying saucer that fell near the address here on Monday evening was nothing but ashes from somebody's pipe dream. Okay, so that... So this is the article that was from the guy that went out there and collected it all, I guess. So says Dr. C.L. Kinney, head of the chemistry department at the Creighton College of Dentistry. Oh my God, he's a dentist? And he's out here trying to give something... Why are you talking about this shit? Go back to the teeth. He had 2 students analyze the ashes. They're dentist people. Go away. They found sodium, potassium, iron, aluminum carbonate, sulfate, and unburnt carbon, he said. This is the same analysis you would get from an ordinary pipe tobacco. He's a dentist. Why did you have a dentist analyze it? That's where you screwed up, bro. That's where you screwed up, bro. Okay, dear Mr. I don't know. Something over. Is there a date for this? I don't see a date. Okay. I have also seen a flying saucer. The evening of July 4th, about 10:30 p.m. We'll see July 4th and then saying that you've seen something in the sky. Like that to me is a little bit more on like the skeptical side, because you know that there's all kinds of stuff going on the 4th of July. But let's read. Only it was in the air at the same level as 2 obvious portions of light in the searchlight beams from the airfield near Lake St. Clair. I was sitting on my porch at the time. A few trucks could, with proper equipment, create the same illusion. There were 2 clearly outlined beams, one partly faded out to the, to that level, I guess, to that level. The saucers appeared with the 3rd beam faded out from the ground to the saucer. Recently, 9 mentioned the distressed what? Ship in the Pacific? Recently, 9 mentioned the distressed ship in the Pacific is not being due to a natural phenomenon, and I don't know, that ships The bomb? What? That ship is the bomb? Like, where's the rest of this? I don't know if something's missing here. Reasonable personal attention for J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, okay. All right, let's see what else. There wasn't a date for that, at least a year, but we know pretty much it's probably 1947. Okay, so who is this for? It doesn't. I'm going to assume these are all letters that were sent to J. Edgar Hoover. I'm going to assume that. Dear Sir, have you seen one of the mysterious saucers? What did it look like? Do you think these strange celestial manifestations are harboring of a better day? Harbingers of a better day? Do you believe it means that a new and revolutionary advance is coming? Will it make your life brighter, happier, more useful? We believe one of these startling discs is on its way to you. Then the secret will be out. Signed, the Combined and Amalgamated Committee of Sky Scanners, Disc Deciphers, and New Product Introducers. Is this a threat? Is this a threat? Let me read that again. Dear Sir, have you seen one of the mysterious saucers? What did it look like? Do you think these strange celestial manifestations are harbingers of a better day? Do you believe it means that a new and revolutionary advance is coming? Will it make your life brighter, happier, more useful? We believe one of these startling discs is on its way to you. Then the secret will be out. That's weird. That's creepy. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I really am curious as to if they're ever going to release to us the letter that was sent to the sorority in the Idaho 4 case that we read the report about, because I can pretty much bet you it's probably on that same level of crack-a-doodle-doo. That was pretty wild. That was crazy. All right, let's see. No, that sounds like a freaking threat. That's crazy as hell. July 14th, 1947. Dear Sir, may I call your kind attention to the heartless criticism in some papers of people who are reporting the flying saucers, especially an article in the Boston Globe recently for a writer called Dineen, Dineen. Also, an apology in the Boston Post this week. This criticism of people who make these reports is very unfair. Everyone from oculists to psychiatrists slammed them publicly in articles. It is a poor way to thank people for their efforts. Someday when something will happen, when these people, when they are needed, these people probably will not bother. Oh, basically like, I can't believe how disgusting people are acting with people coming forward and talking about the fact that they're seeing stuff. It's the same thing when it comes to the military and the military men that have seen things. They were like shamed. They were shamed. If they came forward and said anything, they were considered crazy. No one cared what you had to say. They just didn't give a shit. They honestly did not give a shit. And I will always go back to like the Admiral Byrd story, because he was a highly respected like pilot. He went and did like all over the whole world knew who he was apparently. And then he came out with his story and everyone all of a sudden is like, oh, he's crazy. He needs to be discredited. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It just became an entire thing. It became an entire thing. And it's really an unfair thing at that too, because they take people with like so much credibility behind them. And once they start speaking what they actually see, then they get treated like shit. So I'm actually kind of glad that this is in here, because it tells me that like everybody that was, well, not everybody, but it tells me that the people that were reading these articles were seeing all this really unfair rhetoric going around and was like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Something really could be going on. And you're out here making fun of people who are out here trying to tell you the things that they're seeing. And that's been a problem for a long time. That's why now, like, whistleblowers and people that come forward and actually like speak their truth about what the hell's going on always get shunned and looked down and all this crazy shit, because it's not good to come out and go against the grain. It's not. Like, they're literally making so much fun of it. All we've seen so far is a dentist take a bunch of ashes and have his students that were not actually fully dentists, meaning not fully doctors, go in and do testing on them. And then we saw a psychiatrist come in and be like, oh, it's mass hysteria. Neither one of y'all even have clearance or the knowledge or education to be commenting on anything. Something very similar in Idaho is getting everyone real riled up right now. So I'm really glad people are talking about it. And had a problem with it. I don't know how many people would speak up today. It seems like not very many. It seems like whenever you do, you're also like the bad guy, which is also really stupid. But you know what? It just is what it is. And we continue. Okay. Now, this is a letter, office memorandum from July 7th, 1947 to Mr. D.M. Ladd from H.B. Fletcher. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Can I make it even bigger? Or will y'all not be able to see it? What's going on? Let me see. I think this is good. You see? They mowing that damn grass. I'm telling you. They must know what I'm doing. Stalkers. Okay. July 7th, 1947. At 10:45 a.m., July 7th, 1947, I talked to CAC Johnson of the Milwaukee office concerning the United Press item appearing in the Washington Post for Monday, July 7th, with reference to a flying disc or flying saucer allegedly reported to the Milwaukee office by Reverend Joseph Brasky of St. Joseph's Church in Grafton, Wisconsin. Okay, so this is the priest that found the disc with the gadgets and the wires in the middle of it. SAC Johnson advised that the Associated Press and the United Press between the hours of 1 and 6 a.m. today had made an inquiry of him as to whether anything had been reported to the Milwaukee office. He declined to comment. He stated as a matter of fact, the priest had not made any contact with him, and he learned from the Associated Press that the priest was intoxicated. No way. You're lying. And as far as the Associated Press was concerned, they were not releasing the story because all that was involved was a circular saw. Mr. Johnson stated the Milwaukee Sentinel apparently sent the report out and that they handled, where'd it go? I tried to just press the down button and this is not working for me. Okay, Mr. Johnson stated the Milwaukee Sentinel apparently sent the report out and that they handled United Press service. He stated a photograph of the priest was in the morning's paper holding a circular saw, which apparently covers the body of the priest from armpit to armpit. So that big. Attached to the saw were several wires and two small tubes described as about 3 inches long and 1 inch in diameter. There's no circular saw blades. There are no circular saw blades that have a bunch of little thingies in the middle. Because what the hell are you going to be able to mount it on if that area is obstructed by a bunch of gadgets? So that's crazy, but go off and thinking that it's just nothing. I mean, again, if the dude was drinking, maybe he's just misconstruing it a little bit. But if you're sober and you're describing what you're seeing and you're telling us that it's his entire body width and that there's several wires and two small tubes in the middle of it that are just 3 inches long and 1 inch in diameter, that's telling me there's something to it. The news items in the Milwaukee Sentinel indicate it was believed some prankster had thrown it into the yard, perhaps with a firecracker attached. Mr. Johnson stated the Milwaukee Sentinel had stated the priest would make a report of this matter today at the Milwaukee office. I instructed SAC Johnson in the event the priest made a report to furnish details of the report immediately, but in view of the nature of the information in his possession, no inquiry should be conducted at the present. So he was drunk and it was a prank and nobody needs to talk to him. Okay. All right, let's see. July 15th, 8:44 a.m., 1947, mailroom, Washington, FBI. This is some old paper. Look at the curves. Some old paper. Yoakum, July 12, 1947. Gentlemen, I do send to you something new from Texas. Flying of fire or red around the what? Red around the what? I can't read this. This is like messy. Flying of fire or led around, because that's an L. LED, led around the PA, Lestrine, and the what? I can't read this. Lestrine and the few, something afraid of it. I think that says afraid of it, but it's spelled wrong. It's spelled AFRED instead of AFRAID. This is so messy. And I can't read this. And around, but there's an E at the end. That's not around. I don't know. Is this the name of a town? Not far away from Yoakum. Yeah, this is the name of a town. I can't read half of this. It's so freaking sloppy. Something driven by some kind of light from, I don't know. Anyway, got in that hands enemy or, okay, Nazi mob and what ruined the Texas. They must not be an American. They must have broken English, and that's why this is so difficult. Yeah, that's real sloppy. I think it's somebody whose English is maybe their second language, and so it's like just a little bit more messy, which is fine, but it's like a lot backwards. They did start in Texas City. The what? Demock the factory. In the private port of Yoakum Airport, and our road has what? Oh my god! Something station are such alone. My like that we do not know. No, are them. I'm not reading this. I refuse. I'm not going to read this. It's too difficult to read. Their English is everywhere. Their words are back and forth. I'm not reading this. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. Their words aren't even in the right order to make a complete sentence make sense because of the broken English. And I'm not some, transcriber. So we're just going to move forward. My God. Oh my God. It's too much. Yeah, skip. I'm skipping this damn thing for real. I'm giving up. I'm giving down. I'm done. I'm done. If it's important enough, there'll be a damn report about it. Yeah, there's also one of the reasons why I got really into the ancient astronaut theory is because there's old depictions from before the Bible scripts were written, from before the Sumerian tablets even, okay, that have been found that are works of art. Not just in walls, but other things that have been like painted. And in all these things that are so much older are flying saucers in the sky and depictions of machines with flames coming out of them, like shiny metal with flames and all this power and in the sky. They're literally painting ships. They're literally throwing like flames at each other because it's literally like a fight. And they say that a lot of the old script, like not scriptures, but a lot of the old like writings that you find where people talk about like flying carpets and different things like that, you really have, and I was explaining this to Dawn the other day, I was like, you really have to sit back and you have to think that back then they didn't have words for things. So a lot of the way that they describe stuff back then make no sense to us now for when we finally realize what they're talking about, because we were such a primitive, just human thing back then that we didn't know words. So if something like some higher intelligent being came from somewhere else and started showing us shit, you would think that that was some sort of deity. You would think that that was some sort of God. You wouldn't know any different. And if they showed up and like you were worshiping them, most people are not going to tell you the truth. And they're going to let you think whatever they want. And if it's going to make you bow down to them and make whatever they're doing here easier, yeah, they're not going to argue that. So a lot of those things that seem like magical or godly or all these other stuff, to me, it's just we had a lack of a way of being able to describe things. So words were used that meant bigger things and had more weight than what the reality actually was. That's why going in, like, I really want to go back in and get the original first ever translation of the original, like, scripts that were found. But then I also want to go in and I want to deep dive into the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilee, all of those things, because that's where all the secrets were taken out. That's where all the truths were taken out, in my opinion, because we have more factual evidence on Nephilim and outer beings that came here from other places than we do anything else in our physical history that we can put our hands on here on Earth. There is more physical proof of that scenario than anything else. So that's why I've been like down that, path for like a super long time. Super long time. Yeah, that part. There's a lot of stuff that they've been digging up, and a lot of times it's sort of just like, oh, well, we don't really know what it is, and they try to act like it's something either bigger than it is, or they try to disregard it for something else. But there's all kinds of crazy shit out there, different shaped skulls, even like the elongated skulls that you see depicted in like ancient art and hieroglyphs and stuff like that. They've literally found skulls that are that shape when digging through these old lands and finding all this stuff. And again, every civilization, even civilizations that existed outside of themselves, that didn't have any idea that the other civilization ever existed, generations, decades, hundreds, thousands of years apart, and they all have very similar stories. The flood story is the most common. Well, it came from somewhere. The truth of it is what we're trying to figure out. But almost every single ancient civilization has some form of the flood story where people pissed off the gods and had to be eradicated, minus this one family that got to just do whatever because one god told them that they could, or one god talked to them or something like that. It's the same story in different fonts, different names, but the same story. And it's interesting. It's really interesting. Yeah, they do. They have to maintain a narrative because they've already created one. They don't teach you the truth when it comes to like public schools and stuff like that. Like if you really knew the truth about Columbus, you'd be pissed off that it's still a federal holiday, and you'd be questioning why the hell for generations they've lied to us about who Christopher Columbus really is and what he did. There shouldn't be a holiday in that man's name. He's a liar. He's a fraud. Everyone knew that, but for some reason, they wanted this fake staked claim when there wasn't one necessary. He didn't even come to the Americas first. He went somewhere else first, and they lied. There's a lot of people that we have federal holidays for that don't deserve them, if you really dig into who they really are, of all skin colors. Do a little diggy on the national holidays. You'll be pretty sad that we've been lied to, and just, who even knows why, honestly? I don't even know why anymore. Okay, well, this one's going to be hella difficult to read. First, it's flying discs. Now it's fireballs people see. Okay. A lot of Texans are disgusted with the flying. Oh, it's disgusted. Okay, so he's trying to just like put a thing on it. Okay. A lot of Texans are disgusted with the flying saucers, but others are just plain disturbed. They think they're funny back then. Flying balls of fire circled a wide area around Palestine. That's the word that the dude was trying to write. Okay. And some people believe the end of the world was near, began praying. A white man grabbed a rifle and shot at the mysterious object. Sounds like Texas. Sheriff Paul Stanford of Anderson County described them as orange basketballs of fire. Okay. I guess that's the end of that part. And then it goes into revealing flying disc data may bring prosecution. What? Anyone willfully communicating information bearing on the defense or security of the nation, even in time of peace, is subjected to a fine of $10,000 and imprisonment of 10 years, according to the Assistant United States District Attorney Joseph W. Cash. If the present mystery of flying discs are connected with radar or guided missile experiments, the law might apply, he said. The law applies whether the information is released accidentally through gross negligence or with intent to injure the United States or aid some foreign nation, according to the Act. The Atomic Energy Act of 1946 provides even stricter penalties for revealing information, Mr. Cash said. Public Law 585 of the 79th Congress provides death or life imprisonment after due process of law for disclosing atomic information with intent to injure the United States. For accidental disclosures, a fine of up to $20,000 and imprisonment of up to 20,000 years are provided. So if you do it this is so crackhead. So if you do it intentionally, it's $10,000 and 10 years in prison. But if you do it on accident, if you didn't mean to, then it's double the fine and double the years in jail. What kind of crackhead shit is that? I'm sorry. Gas truck hits local station. Oh my God. Serrero. Okay, so Serrero is the other name that the dude with the what you hell call it. I can't even talk. The cursive, the really sloppy cursive. That's the other town that he was trying to say. Serrero, if that's even how you say that, I don't know. Serrero Residency Flying Disc. Serrero has finally produced its first flying disc. It was reported by Miss F.W. Hake, and both she and her husband saw it. However, Miss Hake's flying disc is no particular mystery to her. She thinks she knows just what caused it. It was simply a reflection from an airplane, she said. Well, then why did you report it? If that's what you think, why are you reporting it? That's ignorant. Sitting on the porch with her husband about 4 p.m. Sunday, Miss Hake said she heard a strange noise from the sky and looked up. Soon an airplane came into view high in the clouds. It was very small, but plainly discernible as a plane, she said. It was coming from the east. Soon it turned north, and just after that, a perfect disk was visible some distance from where the plane disappeared into the clouds. The disk appeared bright and very silvery. It appeared to be smaller in size than an ordinary steering wheel of a car. So, again, like 18-inch diameter. Same as the priest. Were you drinking, Miss Hake? Were you sipping something on the porch? Miss Hake reported, it seems to be floating across the heavens. She called her husband's attention to it. They both saw it. After about 5 seconds, the disc was gone. The plane and the sound disappeared. Miss Hake is convinced the flying saucer was reflected from the airplane. This theory also has been advanced by others. Well, then why are you talking about it? The flying disc mystery has the nation in a dither? With reports coming from all sections on the strange objects. Miss Hake's explanation is as reasonable as any yet put forth and may be the solution to the phenomenon. Sure. All right, let's see which one of these has anything to do with it. Oh, hold on. Okay. Let's see. I don't see anything on this one that has anything to do with that. Except like it's the Yoke and Herald Times that they talked about. This is about labor law, concrete, trucks. There's nothing there about it. The Alamo Register, I'm assuming this is a Texas paper. There's nothing. This is also about labor stuff. This isn't anything to do with UFO stuff. Okay. San Marcos, Texas. You mean San Marcos? Is there a San Marcos, Texas? What the freak? No. San Marcos. I was saying Mark Cox, Texas. Never heard that before in my life. We're Washington, D.C. Check files in Inventors Council for drawing of multi-apering catapult. This invention sent by me to War Department 1945. Possible leakage of information has resulted in my device or variation there from could conceivably catapult a disc and in silence for several miles. So he has like a machine that he came up with, and he's worried other people are going to get a hold of it, I guess. Okay, so this is July 7th, 1947. From J.P. Cohn to D.M. Ladd. Coin from to Ladd. There is being attached here to a Western Union telegram received from the above individual in which information is furnished concerning a disc. This telegram has been acknowledged. Turned over to the liaison section in order that they may make the information contained therein available to the War Department. Okay. Okay, so here's this. Can y'all hear the mower? Got like a crack in my window. I'm trying to see if I can even see them. I don't think they're close enough yet. I don't think they're close enough yet. Okay, let's see. The Western Union. About 20 so-called flying discs passed over Darlington, South Carolina, approximately 5:30 p.m. today. Advise if wish details. So a dozen of them flew over a bunch of people. And that was it. Okay, this is the same thing about there being something from them. So where is the rest of it? Okay, here we go. Yeah. See, I don't even think they're as close as they can get to the fence either. Like, there's probably a good, like, 20 feet between me and my fence line. Yeah, I don't barely hear it. Okay, it should be okay. It should be okay. Okay, let's see. Saucer stories. Disc found is, I don't know, because they ripped it out the damn paper. Priest hears a bang, discovers circular blade with teeth, other discs seen. Picture-in-picture page. The what is that, which Father Joseph Brasky said he found early Sunday on the lawn of St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Grafton, maybe just another gadget to add to Father Brasky's already sizable collection. What does that mean? What that mean? Can y'all see that? Am I still in the way? No, it's okay. Let's see. Those who saw it Sunday said, what is it? Was a circular saw blade with a few wires attached. Father Brasky, who said he knew of no sawmills in the area, would not claim it was a flying saucer when he called newspapermen to his home. It may or may not be one of those flying discs that have been reported all over the country, he said. Let's just call it, what is it? Meanwhile, in Milwaukee and other points in Wisconsin, several persons reported seeing the flying saucers. Father Brasky's disc, however, was the only case here in which the landing of a saucer was reported. Here's Bang finds disc. Father Brasky gave the following account of how he found the object, a steel plate 19 inches in diameter, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and with saw teeth. Now, didn't they just say earlier that it was 18 inches? Same priest, yeah. That it was 18 inches and 1/4 of an inch thick? Isn't that what they said earlier? Why is it changing? I usually get up at about 5 a.m. on Sundays. I was at the front door of my house about to take my dogs out for a walk when I heard a bang like a big firecracker. I stepped outside and found the disc on the church lawn. So wait, they're trying to say that the priest was drunk at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Okay. I mean, look, would it surprise me? No. No, unfortunately, not at all. It would not surprise me one bit. It really would not. 1 second. I gotta get this downloaded real quick. Interesting. 5 a.m. They said he was drunk. Okay. Although the grass was still wet from the night rain, the disc was too hot to pick up. I noticed the glass ball had been knocked off one of the lightning rods on the church, so I suppose it struck that in landing, so it hit something before it fell. Tries to call FBI man. Father Brasky said he did not bother to show the disc to any of the parishioners on Sunday. He tried to telephone an FBI agent whom he knows, but was unable to reach him Sunday. He added, he asked whether it could have been the work of a practical joker. Father Brasky replied, could be, I don't know. The disc, apparently of steel, had a 1 3/8 inch hole in the center, so still tiny. Like maybe like that. Through it ran a few wires. To each end of the cluster of wires was attached what looked like a small condenser about 3 inches long. Okay. The condenser-like objects were wrapped in black tape, which was still sticky. The disc was greasy and somewhat dirty. Stamped on it was approved Dunlap. Hold on. Okay. Approved Dunlap. What does that mean? Dunlap. Saw blades? Circular blades? Approved Dunlap. Okay. Dunlap Industrial Hardware is a thing. It's a thing. Hole saws. Okay, you're not going to show me any pictures? So like that. That's about a 1 3/4 inch hole. I mean, these are obviously like the newer 2026 versions. But this is from the Dunlap company. So I'm guessing that's proof, I guess, that it was a circular saw from the Dunlap company that he's got in his yard. Like somebody tossed it in his yard, I guess. Is that what they're trying to tell us? That's a crazy statement. But Dunlap is a brand that makes circular saws. So at least that part's true. At least that part's true. Okay, let's see. Father Brasky declined to part with the disc. He showed a number of items in his trinket collection. All of them had something to do with fishing, Father Brasky's favorite sport. They included his bass bottles, beer bottles with the head of a fish, and a fish pole from Manila, which folds up into a cane. When opened, it extends to 12 feet. What's that got to do with what's happening here? I use it in reaching folks who can't be touched with a 10-foot pole. So then he touches them with a 12-foot pole. He thinks he's funny. He's got jokes. Other reports, saucers. Father Brasky also passed out copies of his recent publication, Fish Tales. I'm going to revise this thing, he explained. I've got some new and better tales to put in it. There were other reports around Milwaukee and Wisconsin of flying saucers. Miss Anthony Hoffman, I get what the address is, said she and her husband saw one at 8:25 p.m. on Sunday flying towards Billy Mitchell Field from the northwest. When it neared the field, it veered towards the south and disappeared, she said. It was flying high and appeared illuminated, according to Miss Hoffman. It looked like a small meat platter. It looked like a small meat platter, Miss Hoffman asserted. These people are wild. Glenn Rowden of Detroit claimed he saw a saucer about 50 inches in diameter. That one's a lot bigger than the other ones. Over Billy Mitchell Field at 10:05 p.m. when he alighted from an airplane. He said it was in sight for 90 seconds. William Humphrey, who lives with his wife in a Quonset hut. What the hell is that? I actually think I've heard that term before, but I don't know what that means. Oh, let me see. Oh, I want one of these. This is what I've been wanting for like a super long time. I didn't know that's what they were called. I just called them a dome shed. Just came up with my own words. Okay, now I know what that is. Oh, look, this right here. Demolition underway of last World War II era Quonset at SIU in Illinois. So this thing's been around since World War II, and they're going to take it down. Oh, that's cute. I mean, it's so freaking like cowonkatated, but I love it. That's cute. Okay, now we know. Well, I'm sure some of you already knew. I just called him a dome hut, like a dome shed. I would just call him a dome shed. But that's good. That's good to know. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're up here. So the lady that lives in the cowonkatated little house thinks that the UFO saucer looks like a meat plate. That it looks like a small meat plate. That's funny. That is freaking funny. Okay. Okay, so this William Humphrey guy who lives in a dome shed telephoned police at 9 p.m. Sunday that he and Miss Humphrey had seen a slightly illuminated disc which appeared to fall to earth near Pulaski High School. Miss Humphrey said Monday that her husband tried unsuccessfully to photograph the disc. Changed colors, he says. Erwin Rotman, why did they put these people's addresses in here? This is crazy. Claimed he saw 3 of them flying through the air in a northwesterly direction at 6 p.m. on Sunday. They turned from orange to gold to silver before disappearing, he said. Reports came also from Janisville, where Mr. and Miss Alva Seivert and Mr. and Miss Howard Roth reported seeing a flying disc at about 11:35 p.m. on Saturday. The Roths were leaving the Seivert home when Seivert saw it, according to Roth. It appeared to be several thousand feet up and about 10 miles away, and he noticed it. Roth said he described it as vaguely resembling the moon and as having a regular motion in a counterclockwise elongated orbit. It appeared to Roth to be moving faster than an airplane. He said it was yellow on its face, but when it turned, it looked silver. So like it chameleoned then. Roth said that the 4 of them viewed the disc for 10 minutes. That's a long time to be staring at something to be able to get a good recollection of it. Stopped in sky claim. It fluttered around, faded out, and came back again. And once it just stopped and hung there for about 2 minutes, Roth said. The last time we saw it, it had a very noticeable tail. Then when it disappeared entirely, it just popped. It just popped out. So the tail popped out. Oh, no. Okay. So it had a really noticeable tail, and when it disappeared, it just popped and disappeared. It didn't fade, and they noticed a fade. It literally just poofed and was gone, basically. Janesville police reported a telephone call from Dick Thompson, who said he saw flying discs at about 12:15 a.m. on Sunday. So this is like, what, a dozen people now that from Saturday night into Sunday morning at different areas have all seen the exact same thing. So maybe that's why they're putting the addresses, even though they shouldn't be putting the addresses. The addresses should be for whoever is like investigating this crazy shit. But I guess maybe that's what they're trying to do, to try to like do a connect the dot type thing. But they've got people from the nighttime all into the morning time seeing these things flying around. So and the fact that these people don't know each other, like there's like one set of 4 people that, you know, they were at dinner together or lunch together or whatever the hell they were doing. And that's when they decided to leave, and then they saw the thing. But that's actually crazy that all these different people from that night into Sunday all saw the entire thing, like all saw this stuff. And people are still like, oh, It's all just still mass hysteria. Oh, it doesn't need to be taken seriously. Okay, but what if it's like people doing stupid, crazy shit, and it should be taken seriously because that's crazy stuff. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, that's wild. All right. At Oshkosh, Miss L.A. Davis reported that she and her husband had sighted one of the mysterious discs whizzing over the city at 6:45 p.m. on Sunday. So from nighttime to nighttime, not just morning. Because remember, the so-say drunk priest saw it at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. She said they were driving on a town road 6 miles west of Oshkosh, headed east towards the city when they first sighted the object, flying very fast and very high. At first, she said it looked like an airplane and then loomed larger and larger until it appeared as big as the sun. Stops car, disc vanishes. Her husband stopped the car so they could get a better look at the disc, which appeared round and silvery, but by the time they got out of the car, the object had disappeared, she said. At Green Bay, Eugene LaPlante, is it LaPlante when it's spelled like that? LaPlante? Reported that he and his 12-year-old son, Dwayne, had seen a rapidly moving silver... Is that somebody's hair? Is this a pencil mark, or did somebody's hair get copy printed into this? Super curious, because I can't tell. They had seen a rapidly moving silver baller disc around 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, while working in his garden on the western edge of the city. LaPlante said he saw the object silhouetted against a dark cloud to the north, and that he and his son watched it for 3 or 4 minutes while it moved away to the northwest. LaPlante said he could not estimate the altitude or distance, but that it definitely was not an airplane. And then it goes into this next article that doesn't look stapled, so it's in the same paper, it seems. Laws of eyesight clarify reports of flying saucers. Okay. By Howard Blakesley, New York, New York. The flying saucers may be explained by certain laws of eyesight. All objects appear round or nearly so at any distance close to the limit of how far a person can see. If the objects are seen by reflected lights, as in most cases reported, they are almost certain to be round, and if the reflections are sunlight, then the sizes reported are those which would be expected from distant light reflections. Descriptions of virtually all the saucers as round and flat fix exactly with the tricks that eyes play. This trickiness varies with differences in weather and lighting. This writer has seen flying saucers over Long Island Sound, not only this year, but in previous years. They were round, bright, and moving fast. But they were no mystery because they were light reflected from the bodies of airplanes that soon identified themselves by changing course and coming near enough to be seen distinctly. Many descriptions of movements of the flying saucers fit with the common maneuvers of airplanes, singly or in groups. Some of the maneuvering reported, which took saucers out of sight and back into sight again, resembles what can be seen while watching distant airplanes. Whether planes are guided, pilotless, or jet, they all would look the same at great distances. Okay. Oh my God, there it is. Yeah, somebody attached something to it. That's a saw blade from Dunlap Industries. That is definitely a saw blade from Dunlap Industries. That's big, bro. And there's the little things that were sticking up out of it. Is there a better picture? No. Well, look, there it is. I'm gonna have to make him the picture for the clip I take from this. I'm gonna have to put him in the front. But there it is. There's the blade. There's the blade. Sharp-eyed sight discs, but only a saw blade is found. And now here's somebody looking under an airplane. And I guess there's people there talking about it. Everybody looks so different. Like even our face structures are so different now than they were back then. It's kind of crazy. All right, what does this say? We have about 10 more minutes, guys. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. Who, what, where, why are flying discs? The year's biggest mystery produced these Sunday photos while reports came from everywhere and everyone that the saucers were everywhere. That's how it seems. I mean, they just told us a million different people in all different areas and all from Saturday night into Sunday night. That's like more than a 24-hour period. There's a lot going on. Top left, a movie camera is fitted on a P-51 fighter plane in Portland, Oregon, as Oregon National Guard planes are made ready to chase the discs. So that's what this is right here. They're putting cameras on the airplanes so that if they actually do catch up to whatever it is, they can get it on camera. Okay. Okay. Lower, Miss Walter Johnson, Wright of Spokane, Washington, and her children pose and tell how they saw the saucers land on a mountainside in Idaho and disappear. So this is a story that we read earlier where the lady was like, we couldn't tell if they did anything to the trees. I want to go hiking out there tomorrow and see what's going on. These two right here definitely look related. Look at that. They almost got the same face. That's crazy. Okay, let's see what else it says. Right is Father Joseph Brasky of St. Louis Catholic Church at Grafton, Wisconsin. With the disc he reported struck his church early Sunday. It turned out that the disc was a prankster-made projectile. That's what the initial page of this entire thing is all about right there. Featuring a Dunlap circular saw blade. Note that something apparently took a glass ball off of one of the lightning rods. A whole lot of Milwaukeeans reported that they saw the saucers traveling past Sunday night. And there he is again. Right here. With his blade. Yeah, somebody did that. Somebody did that. Somebody's a douchebag. Here, let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Seen in 36 states, jet fighters alerted. We've only got like 7 minutes left. This one's a long one. Let's see how far we can get into it, though. Let's see. San Francisco, July 6th. Military aircraft hunted the skies over Pacific Coast states today for sight of the mysterious flying saucers that for 12 days have puzzled the entire country. Early reports of results were negative. 5 P-51s of the Oregon National Guard cruised over the Cascade Mountains of Washington, the area where the strange objects first were reported sighted. A 6th circled over Portland in constant radio contact with the other 5, all carried photographic equipment. Colonel G.R. Dodson, commanding, described their flight as a routine patrol, but said they had been instructed to watch for the flying discs. At Manhattan Beach, California, a W. McKelvey took a Mustang fighter plane up above Van Nuys. For 2 hours, he cruised at 35,000 feet, but didn't see a thing. General Carl Spates, commandant of the Army Air Forces, was on a Pacific Northwest fishing trip. He denied knowing anything about the flying discs or of planes to use AAF planes to look for them. Jet fighter set. I've been out of touch with things for 4 or 5 days, he said. Louis E. Starr, we've heard that name already in this, National Commander-in-Chief of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, yesterday in Columbus, said he understood Spats had a group out right now looking for discs. At Muroc Army Airfield in California, a P-80 jet fighter stood ready to take off the moment any flying saucers are sighted in that area. A cautious attitude marked both official and scientific comments, but Captain Tom Brown of the Air Force's public relations staff in Washington acknowledges the Air Force had decided there's something to this and had been checking up on it for 10 days. So the Air Force thought there was actually something going on, while other people were trying to pretend that people were drunk and crazy and mass hallucinating. Okay. First, cited June 25th and greeted generally with scornful laughs, the objects have been reported every day since by observers in 36 states. Most of the objects were reported seen July 4th, which is convenient. You would definitely, if you were trying to be incognito as some little alien ships, would probably use July 4th as a covered night because that's when all kinds of shit is being thrown up in the sky. on fire. So I guess that would make some sense. A few were reported yesterday. Such competent observers as airline pilots said they had seen the totally unexplained discs or saucers larger than aircraft and flying in loose formation at high speed. David Lilienthal, chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, said they had nothing to do with the atomic experiments, and Army Navy officials also entered positive disclaimers. Newspaper stories quoting an unidentified California Institute of Technology scientist as saying the phenomena might have something to do with experiments in transmutation of atomic energy caused a brief sensation late yesterday. The institute quickly denied the report. Reports generally agreed that the flying objects were round or oval. Estimates of their speed ranged from about 300 to 1,200 miles an hour. They were described as flying with an undulating motion at heights of 10,000 feet and less. Some described them as glowing or luminous. Propeller in center. Nova Hart, St. Louis mechanic who was trained during service in the war to spot all types of aircraft, said he saw one of the strange objects near Pattonville yesterday. It was flying at 300 feet, he said. He described it as circular with a ribbed framework and silver gray in color. Hart said it appeared to have a motor with the propeller attached in the center, and it kept turning like an airplane doing a slow roll. That's similar to another story that we heard. I think that might be the same guy, different article though. First published reports of the phenomenon occurred June 25th. Kenneth Arnold in Boise, Idaho, businessman pilot, told of seeing 9 of the discs flying in formation at 1,200 miles an hour. So crazy. Over the Cascade Mountains in Washington. Seen by 200. 200 people? Arnold's account was taken lightly. Various explanations were offered. Reflections, persistent vision, snow blindness. Convenient. Soon afterward, other individuals in New Mexico, Missouri, California, and other states reported they also had seen the flying objects. Then, on Independence Day, 200 persons in one group and 60 in another saw them in Idaho. So 260 people. Wow. Hundreds of others in Oregon, Washington, and other Western states reported seeing them. Okay, so make it a cool 1,000. Let's just be so serious. July 4th also brought a first report of the flying discs from east of the Mississippi. Since then, they have been reported seen in widely separated sections of the country in 33 states in all. Must be insane. London, July 6th, Associated Press. Don't mention those flying saucers on this side of the Atlantic unless you're prepared for an argument about your sanity. The UK wouldn't have none of it. Maybe they have been seen by sober citizens over a vast area of the United States, but Europe won't believe in them until somebody lassos one and has it photographed by Frank Sinatra, the British ambassador, and 5 Supreme Court justices. Oh my God. America's reply to the Loch Ness Monster. Chortled today's Sunday Dispatch, referring the Britain's I don't like the way that word is probably pronounced, so we're going to continue. Britain's tall tale story, the serpent that is seen romping in Scotland's Loch Ness every time the tourist train needs a shot in the arm. Well, that's the last of that article. That's where it ends. This another one is a second one. Actually, what's funny, not really funny, but funny at the same time. What page are we on? 52? Okay, let me write that down. For Loch Ness, like 2 months ago or so, I guess it was, this guy that had been on a journey for like his entire freaking life, okay, to discover the Loch Ness Monster, like just out of nowhere came out and was like, it's not real. I've wasted my entire life, blah, 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 blah. I'm writing the page number on my door. Can y'all see my door a little bit? See my board? This is where I write everything. So he came out all of a sudden and was like, she doesn't exist. Nessie doesn't exist. It's all been a waste, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, you found her, sir. You found her. You found proof. And you just don't know, nobody messing with her, which is valid. But don't insult my intelligence because there's just no way. I'm sorry. You don't. People that are that committed to finding something like that don't change their mind. They take it to the grave. I think he found her. I think we found her. And yes, I know I need a W-40 in my door. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Don't want to hear it. Oh my God. They were so mean. They're so mean. If you think that you saw flying saucers, you're just crazy. Don't talk to me. Do you really? Oh my God, that's so cool. That's been one of the places I've been wanting to go my entire life. Like, I'm not expecting to see anything, but I really do like, I think that there's probably something in the water. I believe we've got whales that are like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old that live way down deep. There's things down there that we just don't even know about. And that pretty much goes for like every body of water ever. Because unless you've actually gone down there and pictured and photographed literally everything with how deep everything is and caves and stuff like that, like we don't know. Water is our greatest mystery. Water is our greatest mystery. And instead of trying to figure out, well, I'll say this, but then preface with, I know it's also bullshit, because they've acted like they like basically stopped really exploring like the seabed. And that's when they started focusing up there. But I don't believe that's true at all. I think that they realized something about how similar the above and the below is. And so they're just doing both, but they don't want us to look down. But we know that there's so many stories of people, especially off the coast of either Tokyo or California. You get stories from both sides of people seeing lights in the water looking like a jet or something flying because of the speed, but in the water. They see them going like they're going on like a landing thing, and then they like disappear into the ground, into the seabed, like gone. And then lights coming out of the water, going into the sky, looking like it's flying, things coming from the sky, going into the water, like they're going in again to a landing strip. People have stories all over the place by the thousands, especially over the past few decades. So, yeah, I think we've only explored like what? Damn. What is it, like 10%? 14% maybe? That too. That's not shocking. That's not shocking at all. They're always finding something. Yeah, there's been a lot. In and out, in and out, in and out. Yep. I love it. I love it so much. The only reason I won't go on a cruise is because I don't trust the humans. I would gladly go out on my own boat with my own family for like a week in a decent sized boat where you have a camping thingy, like the beds, and you can cook. I would just fish and make my fish plus bring stuff with me. I would never, ever, ever, ever go out into deep water with some stranger, with some paid freaking boat captain. Hell not, ain't happening. Okay. My father has the experience. I will eventually have the experience myself to be able to do these kinds of things eventually, but I would never, because of the humans, go out into the deep ass water of a cruise, which really sucks. That's like the one vacation thing I really want to do for myself when my kids are like old enough for me to be able to not bring any of them. And I'm just too scared to do it because I don't trust people. I just don't trust people. And either something will happen to me or something will happen to somebody there. Because that's just how life goes whenever I try to plan anything. So I just don't plan stuff for y'all's safety. You're welcome. I stay in my house. Stay in my house. Bro, did y'all freaking see? Oh my God. Did y'all see the story last week of the pilot and the student, and they got up high and the freaking pilot tells the student pilot, well, you know what to do now, and then jumps out the plane to his freaking death right in front of her? And she had to land the plane. What really pisses me off about that is the inconsiderate, selfish piece of shit that did that to her is the picture going around in all the articles, and not the woman who was just traumatized and had to freaking figure out how to not die. Crazy. Like what kind of loser piece of shit do you got to be to do that to somebody? Like, if you want to take yourself out, have freaking at it. If you want to be a dumb bitch, go do it by yourself. But don't traumatize somebody else on your way out, especially somebody that you didn't even know. Like, you don't even have a personal vendetta against this person to want to hurt them, and you just traumatized her for the rest of forever. You freaking loser. Ugh. I think it was in Brazil, something like that. Yeah, that's so freaking rude. Yeah, the tower guy didn't know what the hell was going on. No freaking idea. How freaking selfishly disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, I don't like people, bro. Yeah, because she was like a student. Like, she apparently had some hours under her. But Can you imagine being that high up into the damn sky and you're with someone that is your instructor, that you trust to train you, to keep you safe, and they just peace out in the rudest fucking way possible? Oh my God. Insane. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. Thank you again for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. Congratulations to the person who got that one. I'm going to be off for maybe like an hour or 2 hours or so, do some stuff around the house, get some stuff settled with the boys, and then we'll be back probably around, I want to say, either 4:45 or 5:15. I'm going to go live on my other channel to go over the Gypsy Rose interview because I've really been wanting to watch it. She drives me crazy. She's a freaking idiot. And that's just like that's the only criminal case that I'm okay saying it's like a Jerry Springer show. That is my entertainment. Like Gypsy Rose, gyp shit is my entertainment. Okay. Everything else is disgustingly sad, but gyp shit is my entertainment because that, you know, I got so much to say. So we'll be live over there to go over that interview. If I feel like it tonight, after we're done, we'll go live to finish the Cy thing. But I know that we went almost 6 hours yesterday, and we only got an hour and 45 minutes into his 3.5 hour long interview because everything he says is stupid. Really no other way to put it. And there's a lot to debunk and a lot to talk about. So I have to stop and I have to say things because that's the entire point of us going over the interview. So I might wait and maybe we'll make that like a Tuesday morning thing since we're doing Moscow Monday tomorrow. Because that was like a lot. And it is Sunday going into Monday and I really don't want to have all of that, you know. So we'll probably wait and do it Tuesday morning. I think that's probably safer, better mentally for everyone, I think. I think it's better for everyone. Okay. I'm going to get off of here. See you guys in a few hours over on the other channel. Y'all have a great rest of your day. If you're not going to come watch Gypsy Rose, you will see me eventually. Thank you for coming in here. I love talking about this alien stuff. It's so freaking weird. Let me make sure I have this on here right because I have a non-Idaho one I have to add. Here we go. Non-Idaho. All right. Thank you again for joining. I will see you guys soon. See y'all.